Well, a lot has happened in the last 24 hours. Now, it may be a little confusing. I already have recorded something on Natalie. Well, there's no nice way of putting it. Lying. And so I did a commentary responding, and I think I was fair because definitely what she was saying did not ring true. So then Liz Ferris put out a video where she point by point refuted a lot of what Natalie said. Now, Liz did not provide definitive proof, but a lot of what she said rings very true. And she basically filled a lot of gaps that I had about, like, wait, what are you talking about? It was very, very confusing. So the Natalie commentary may seem a little out of date, but I will put it out just to give people more context. So if you want her side of the story, wait for that commentary because I want to try to be fair to her. So what is the big deal or what happened? Well, this has been a deep question for about a whole year, right? Because we're coming to the anniversary when Aaron was kicked off the Aftermath board, headed by Mike Rinder and Claire Headley. And like many people, I was very initially sympathetic to Aaron. I'm not going to take down those videos, not just because those videos got a lot of views, but because, and we'll get to this a little bit in terms of YouTube monetization. The information that Aaron provided at that time was very alarming of how they acted. And again, there are still things that are questionable about the Aftermath Foundation. So, like many naive people, when Aaron announced, okay, I'm leaving this foundation and I'm making my own foundation, there were high hopes that it would be an improvement and that Aaron would go his own way, and we would just have two foundations dedicated to anti-Scientology. Well, I think it's very clear that neither foundation is really dedicated to anti-Scientology, but they are very elite, very problematic, what's the word? Corrupt institutions. But good or bad, Claire Headley does have a real foundation that has actual official IRS recognition. Aaron does not. And although there are some troubling things behind the scenes that have happened with Claire, in his very short tenure as president of the SPTV Foundation, Aaron has managed to do way worse things in a very short amount of time, and it is jaw-dropping. It is just insane. So Natalie put out a video essentially trying to put some distance between her and Liz Ferris, because Liz Ferris came out and showed the SPTV Foundation treated her in a very abusive, manipulative manner, and it seemed they were singling her out, right? Like she was specifically being punished. But why? Well, first, let's just get to a fact correction. So Natalie made it seem that Liz Ferris and her really didn't communicate that much. And Liz said, on the contrary, she and her wife, right, because Liz is gay, she's a lesbian, had very close relationship with Natalie and her late husband, but suddenly that's been magically forgotten.
I have some amazing texts that say, please come stay at my house. Oh my God, it's going to be so much fun. It'll be like a sleepover slumber party and all these amazing things. But now it's being said that I supposedly invited myself to a funeral. I've never been so disgusted by some of these people in my entire life. I've watched a grown-ass man with an...
Probably the central core was that Liz was being attacked for her association with DOA, Lara FM, and other people who have been critical of what Aaron has done and have sometimes been vocal and verbally, openly challenging some of what he does as a leader. So, for whatever reason, Aaron decided it would be a good idea to interject himself into a conversation which he was not planned to appear and basically take over Liz Ferris's channel and ask some very bizarre interrogation style questions on a subject he didn't quite know what happened. And this will be important for another video and for another time. But listen, recently Aaron declared, despite, and I am not joking, perhaps 50 videos where he puts out wild rumors and speculations. Guys, that's not what I'm here for. I don't do that. I don't put out wild rumors or speculations. All that happened is Liz spoke to DOA about some of her medical treatments. That is it. It did not really involve Aaron or the SPTV Foundation, as she revealed in that video. But Aaron just jumped to the assumption that somehow or other DOA and Liz were plotting against him and got really, really angry. But it seems like there was no there. And Liz has now spilled the tea, so now we can no longer deny this. We all suspected this, that Aaron is putting out a very phony, a very manufactured kind of image where on camera, He cries about victims. He cries about children. He cries about trauma. We just need to be a community. We need to come together to oppose Scientology. I am not trying to lead a group. I'm not here to lead anyone. I am just trying to save people. And Liz is saying that's all a big lie. That's a massive lie. Behind the scenes, he yells and screams. He belittles people. He manipulates people. He lies to people. He is a cult leader. And she explicitly says the word cult. It's not me. She is saying it, that they are using their, quote, Scientology training, both Natalie and Aaron, but in a new, more sinister way.
For all of it. Not to mention the fact that this person sits there and says that they're an amazing human being and they're so kind and they're so generous. And when you meet them to their face, they're just so sweet, but they're a pathological liar. That live that she did where she stated specifically that I invited myself is bullshit. And I'm not going to sit there and be their bloody punching bag so that they can get a couple more clicks, a couple more views, a couple more people in there. A couple more super chats. Maybe some more super chats, guys.
Right. Because Liz has her own troubling past, which she got to immediately in the video, by the way. She has a very controversial decision she made with, we'll just say, a family member. Again, I need a little bit more information, but it sounds genuinely horrific. But again, listen, a lot of these ex-scientologists have made, to put it mildly, very problematic decisions in their lives. But the situation, as always, is very complicated. So you have to judge for yourself whether Liz is trying to revise her history. That I don't know. And she has some very troubling allies like DOA, Pro-Snappy, so on and so forth. I still think they're troubling. If you think they're fine, that is you. But in terms of the relevant subject, yes, they were at least doing some good things. But I just want to answer Liz Gale a little bit because we had a back and forth when I did a video focused on her and I called her a monster. I'm not taking any of that back. Now, this is where we are, and it is very uncomfortable, I think, because it is not a good space we're in. It's not my problem, it's their problem, but let's try to be fair-minded to both sides. Because Liz is actually saying Liz Gale was actually a good person. However, that doesn't ring true to me. Now, it could be that Liz Gale is a better person than Aaron, right? I think there's a consensus slowly emerging that most people are better than Aaron, right? Aaron has put himself, and this is his problem, not mine, in a very weird area. And I'm not exaggerating. Alongside Miscavige, P. Diddy, Danny Masterson, and you name these very celebrity monster people. Has Aaron done anything as bad as those people? No. So he's not gone the full Diddy. But has he done similar things to Diddy, Masterson, Miscavige, so on and so forth? Yes. Yes, he has. And he was caught red-handed. And as always, he's trying to get away from being found guilty, even when we have overwhelming evidence. And now Liz Ferris is adding her testimony. So he really can't escape the charge that he is an abusive, very secretive, manipulative, authoritarian cult leader. That's gone. That debate is over. The question is, how bad is it? Well, I think it's really, really bad, right? So she's kind of locked into a paradox because she's saying Aaron is really, really bad, but somehow Liz Gale is this innocent little lamb here. She's not. If she was witness to a lot of these things and didn't tell people or didn't try to warn people or help people, I don't know. I don't think that makes her a lot better. But to give her a lot of credit, she did try to help Liz Ferris behind the scenes. She has done some good things. But her basic response has been, listen, guys, I have alarming questions about this too. And she decided to just walk away from it. Right? This is very different from Sterling, who saw these troubling signs and said, you know what? I am getting away from the whole thing. I'm just going to quit the whole thing. All of you people are acting in a very alarming, negative manner. I'm just walking away. And what did Liz Gale do? She stuck around. So, again, if Liz Ferris wants to look kindly on Liz Gale, that is fine. I am just here to try to be informative to people who are just coming into this debate, and people have been in this debate for a while, that that's where we are now. So we have monsters who do at least a few decent things, right? Like Liz Gale and DOA. And they have. I mean, what DOA is doing right now is yelling and screaming and terrorizing women in Los Angeles. Liz Ferris is aware of this. She doesn't care. And she's saying, Scott is such a nice, beautiful, round panda bear. He is not. He's not. But he did do some good things. He did the right thing regarding her. I mean, that's better than nothing. As did Pro Snappy, and apparently as did Liz Gale. Still pretty monstrous activities in my point of view, but you have your point of view. Then we've got the monsters with a capital M who do some good things, but really the main goal is always to help themselves, right? Because P. Diddy has a charity. And I hate to say that, but I'm going to lose a subscriber. I have no doubt about that. That listen, good or bad, P. Diddy actually did do some charitable events. A lot of these were frauds too, by the way. Yeah, a lot of people question how much he actually did give to people. But he did something, right? Ashton Kutcher seemed to create his own charity, which is just about himself, just making money for himself. So it's just a very ugly world we live in. That it's a very bad scale, but that's the scale we have at the moment, where we have monsters who do some good things, and then monsters who they do a few good things, but mainly the goal is to, right, increase their own power and wealth. That is their main goal. And Aaron is in the latter camp, which is pretty horrifying because a lot of people still are probably naive about the SPTV Foundation thing. Listen, I hate Scientology. You hate Scientology. I want to help the victims. You want to help the victims. And gosh darn it, Aaron is a good, noble, decent, lovely, juicy, man god saving everyone. There are people who still honestly think this, but it's just not true. I wouldn't say just running to her or Liz Gale, we now have the utopia of the women's take back the power and they're going to, have a great old time saving everyone. That's not going to happen either. But that is where we are now. We have very flawed fighters on both sides in the SPTV community. One is a lot worse than the other, but even the less worse part of the community is very troubling onto itself. But good on Liz Ferris for coming out and showing that Natalie and Aaron have been lying to us, to our faces, for about a year.
People were my friends. The truth of the matter is, Natalie doesn't even like me. Doesn't even like me. And that's okay, because I can't stand her ass.
Anymore.